Hello guys, this is Adam. Welcome to the Adam Lab. I hope that you are doing good. Officially, the name is Adam Lab. That's the name of the channel. I think this is more appropriate and it sounds better anyway. And Adam Lab X is the name of the Instagram from now on because of the fact that Adam Lab is taken by someone and I cannot do anything about it. So I will leave that in the description if you want to follow me. Now there are a couple of things to just talk about real quickly. So when it comes to the RAM 16GB or 8GB for the M1 chip, if you are doing games, if you are doing iOS development, if you are doing Android applications or Android development, or maybe you are using Unreal Engine or Blender or whatever that might be, in this case 16GB of RAM is the better choice to go with. And if you want longevity, 16GB of RAM is the better route to go with as well. Now if you do web development, aka a CSS, HTML, JavaScript to build websites and such, or even web applications, in this case 8GB of RAM is enough for you to do all your work, yet I still recommend 16, and that's for the longevity. Meaning, the M1 chip just came out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, which means in the future, the applications will be optimized to use all the full potential and power of the M1 chip, which means there will be more pressure on it and more RAM will be used. And when it comes to that, you definitely need enough RAM in order to run everything, aka 16GB of RAM. And especially if you are keeping your device for more than, let's say, 2 or 3 years, and I don't think a person would buy a device and then change it after 2 years. Mostly if you buy a device, you will keep it for the next 3 to 5 years, and some other people actually keep it more than that. If that's the case, for the longevity, you do need more RAM, and that's the better way to go about it. Now when it comes to the processing power, the M1 chip is really powerful, and we have actually explained that in previous videos that you can definitely check out for Xcode and other applications as well. But the main thing is, let's say my 16-inch MacBook Pro and the M1, when you do virtualization, meaning you will be building, let's say, the iPad, or maybe you will be building the iPhone, when you are doing that, these, in order to be virtualized and then be built, they will be using RAM. And when they start using the RAM, you do need enough RAM in order to run them, so you wouldn't have to use a swap. Basically, what would happen is your hard drive will turn into a RAM and it will be using your hard drive. Now, why you don't want to use a swap? There are two reasons. First, the longevity of your SSD will be degraded, and it depends. Some people say it doesn't even matter. Some people say it does matter. It really depends on who you are. For me, I don't like that in general. And the other reason is usually your SSD is slower than your RAM because the random access memory or RAM usually is faster, and you need to keep using that instead of using any swap. Now if your swap is like 1GB to 2, that's okay, but if it gets more than that, it will definitely get complicated and it will be slower. Now I want to demonstrate something for you, but I will demonstrate it really quickly since I do have 2 videos actually explaining that in further details. You can definitely check them out. What I will show you right now is we will do a quick build, only a build without any virtualization on the M1 chip and then on the 16-inch MacBook Pro with 64GB of RAM. The M1 chip as a processor, it's faster, so actually it will build faster than the M1 chip. But when it comes to the virtualization, if I want to do virtualization by clicking, for example, Command R, what would happen at that point? They will start building a virtualized machine, either that's an iPhone or an iPad, and when they do, the M1 chip, even though it finished the build really quickly, it will take more time to do the virtualization, while the 16-inch will do it faster. And the reason being, the 16-inch MacBook Pro does have more RAM, which means it will allocate or use that RAM in order to start build your virtual machine, whether that's a phone or that's an iPad. And I did demonstrate that in 2 other videos, so I will not do it again. You can definitely go ahead and watch these videos to see, but I will only demonstrate the CPU really quickly because that's easier to do and it will not take as much time. And I will not be recording the screen as usual. So what we will do is Xcode right here and then Xcode right here. So right now I will clean this build and then I will clean this build. So what I will do is I will click Command B on both. So 1, 2, 3, Command B, and So this was faster than that, and again as I said, it only took 4 seconds and here took 5 seconds. So literally the difference was 1 second to build one of my fun projects that I am working on. And reason being, again, as I said, the M1 chip is faster. Now when it comes, if I want to build that on an iPad, it will take more time and I don't want to do that, but you can watch my other videos in order to see. But in general, when that happens, let's say we are virtualizing the device, virtualizing on the M1 will be slower from the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and that's due to the fact that the MacBook Pro, the 16-inch, have 64 gigabyte of RAM, which means with that RAM it will be virtualizing really quickly and have access to it, while here on the M1 chip it will definitely be using your hard drive in order to swap and then to build the machine, and sometimes it will downgrade the quality of your virtualization or whatever that might be in order to have the application running as it should. If you are doing anything that need virtualization, and most of development does that, especially if you are doing web development, sorry, not web development, mobile development, you will definitely need that. But if you are doing web development, making websites or web applications, usually these depend on the internet, and if you are using Safari or even if you are using really Google Chrome on the M1 chip, it has been optimized already. So with 8 gigabyte of RAM you should be okay, but for the longevity I will definitely recommend 16 gigabyte of RAM. And usually with our computers we don't do coding, for example, only. Maybe sometimes we need to make a video, maybe sometimes we need to run Blender, maybe in the future we will start to explore other things and we want to do them aside from doing maybe development or whatever that might be. And when we get to that point, what would happen then is we need that power. So instead of cheaping out for like 200 bucks or 180, and then after 2 years you would be like, oh, I wish I had 16 gigabyte of RAM and yada yada, just save. Maybe you need to save that a month. I would save that in a month, then buy the device that I actually need and that I actually will use. And even if my usage and my skills grow, the device can grow with me and I can keep it for a very long time, which means it will be better investment rather than after 2 years I will be biting my fingers because I do regret not getting enough RAM. And hopefully in the future when I get one physically, I will definitely be doing more testing, because I am still thinking of buying probably the MacBook Air or maybe the MacBook Pro as a secondary machine just to have it there, plus to do some more testing with it. So we will definitely see how that goes. That's everything I have. Thank you for watching and happy Thanksgiving as well.